the most diversified slate since the longevity of the Teamsters. And it was a miscalculation. I didn't think the election supervisor was going to disqualify all my petitions on the West Coast that Lucio Reyes had collected, who was running with me as a vice president of the Western region. And they disqualified those petitions. And we didn't send them in. We should have sent more petitions in. Call it hindsight, but hey, everybody knows me around the country. The energy is there. The membership is involved. We're getting a lot of support out there. The members are upset, and they want this election to be about them, the issues, and what this international is going to do for the membership. No more glossy photos, no more cable network TV. They want this international to be ran from the bottom up. So the election officer threw us a curveball as far as I'm concerned. Hey, I lived with it. I didn't appeal it. I accept the decision. So I got to live with it. Okay. Thank you.
Any Ken Hall response?
The last time I checked, it's not about petitions as to whether you field a slate. You must get delegates at the convention. And the issue is Fred couldn't get the delegates at the convention to field a full slate. You know, I've listened to this about what kind of campaign he's run. I've always had a great deal of respect for Fred until he got into this race. And now the accusations that's coming out. I mean, he posts everything that in his campaign and claims to, last week he claimed to lead the 97 UPS strike. So I don't know what's going on, but I think we should talk about the truth. And the truth is he couldn't get the delegates at the convention.
Okay. Comment from Sandy Pope.
Well, the truth is that you need a national organization to run successfully, and that's what I had. And I got 50,000 votes, or sorry, signatures, which is even more than what was required. And I've been out there in the field the entire time. As every weekend of the year, I've been out campaigning, and that's what's necessary to win here. Is the national organization of volunteers that we have. We have Teamster members all around the country and in Canada and in Puerto Rico who are committed because they are sick and tired with the direction and they want to see a new direction in this union.
Okay, let's take another question from one of the Teamsters here in the hall tonight. This second question would come from Rich Bauer, who's from Teamster Local 697. And it goes to Ken Hall.
Yes, Ken, my question is, President Hoffa's own #2 man, Tom Kegel, is retiring this year. And in a public letter, he criticized the campaign violations by the Hoffa administration and the use of outsiders to run our union. Do you support his comments on that? And if so, what are you going to do about it?
Not sure whose comments he's asking.
Tom Kegel, he said.
Well, first of all, let's be clear about one thing. Tom Kegel I have more respect for Tom Kegel than almost anyone in this organization. He's been the greatest General Secretary Treasurer of my lifetime. And what I will tell you is, I'm not going to speak for Tom, but I am going to tell you that contrary to what you're implying in your question, at our international convention, Tom Kegel came to the Hoffa Hall fundraiser. And he came to that fundraiser and spoke to the Hoffa Hall supporters. So I believe that any implication that you've made here, Rick, is a little misplaced.
Okay. Comment from Sandy Pope about the Tom Kegel?
I've grown to respect Tom Kegel a lot over the years, even though we've been on different sides in most things. And I don't believe that Tom would put something out like that if he hadn't really thought about it and didn't really feel it. And that was that Hoffa was leading this union in the wrong direction. And maybe one of the main reasons was because of what happened with Central States, which was letting UPS pull out of Central States, which has left it devastated and caused YRC to go on the brink. So I think that Tom knew what he was talking about, but has backed off.
Okay, and Fred Jaguar.
The truth of the matter is that they're talking about the Kegel July 2010 letter to the General Executive Board, where Kegel talks about outsiders coming in and running the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Union. He talks about how the election process is going. And what brought this all on was that Hoffa backdoored Kegel, went behind his back, cashed in the scholarship fund, the strike and defense fund, and a general fund. He cashed it in on the worst days of the market, March 6th of 2009. By the end of 2009, guess what Hoffa lost? Over $30 million he lost in revenue. What does that mean to the membership? A one-time assessment to every member in this great international union of $23 to $24 to make up for Hoffa's screw-up. That's what Kegel's upset about. That's why Kegel dumped him.
Okay. Next question comes from Michelle Amber, and it goes to Sandy Pope.
In his acceptance speech, President Hoffa said that neither of his challengers spoke up at the convention, nor did they submit any resolutions or amendments. Can you explain why you didn't take the opportunity to show the delegates what policies you stand for?
Are you done? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a couple of reasons. The last convention, I was booed and yelled at every time I got up at the mic, which was fine. I still was able to speak, but it was really pretty ridiculous and disrespectful. This time I was prepared for it, and I did get up at the mic, only I was blocked by a very large person who kept me from getting to the mic. And then at the next time I got up, I was followed around by somebody who was getting ready to pounce on me to attack me as soon as I got up there. It soon became clear that this convention was going to be nothing but a dog and pony show, which is what it was. And so submitting resolutions, we tried that the last time and the time before, and they were all dismissed by the committees that are all picked by Hoffa. So the whole thing is very controlled. So I decided that my campaign is going to take it to the streets, to take it to the members, and on Facebook and email and every other way that we can get that campaign out there. I just went there to get nominated, and that's what I did.
Response from Ken Hall. Do you know if Sandy Pope was blocked from getting to the microphone?
Absolutely not. Sandy, and the decision was made, quite frankly. Do not boo Sandy Pope, because that's what she wants. She likes to talk about what happened 5 years ago, and we knew that that was what she would come expecting, and it was very clear. To suggest that she was blocked from making amendments or constitutional changes is just ridiculous. And if I felt that way, I certainly wouldn't be in this race. But the fact is that neither of our opponents got on the floor, and I'm sure that Fred, as tough a guy as he is not going to say that he was intimidated from getting on the floor. Neither side made one constitutional amendment or resolution at the convention.
Okay, Fred Jaguar on the convention.
Well, the convention was a dog and pony show. It was a big party for Jim Hoffa at the expense of the membership's dues money. Let's face it, at the Constitution Committee where we had a meeting, myself and Fred Zuckerman and Brad Sloss and Henry Perry, who all sat on the Constitution Committee, we wanted to reduce the amount of time you have to wait for strike benefits from 10 days to 5 days. And we got shot down. So we made up our mind, let's go get nominated, because all it was a Hoffa party. I mean, I never seen so many acolytes that were wrong about Hoffa bringing in the movie stars. Let's talk about the issues. We didn't talk about waste management people losing their pension in Milwaukee getting screwed. We didn't talk about how people were left on the street when they asked for help. None of that was discussed. And they say, well, bring up resolutions. Thank you.
Okay. Next question comes from Ryan Grimm, and it goes to Ken Hall.
Right. So you've spoken tonight about one of the Teamsters' greatest victories, the UPS contract in the 90s, which created thousands of full-time middle-class jobs. But the most recent UPS contract, in order for UPS to be able to represent freight workers, one of the concessions was that there would be part-time work allowed. So it gets to the question of what is the union good for? If a union job is part-time, close to the minimum wage without health care benefits, what is a union job?
Well, I'm not sure which contract you're talking about, because the contract that we negotiated in 1997 with the strike, we got a settlement of $4.7 billion. In 2002, under Jim Hoffa's leadership with the same negotiator, we got $9.6 billion. Part-time employees do have both health insurance and pension benefits, which is under that contract, which is very, very rare. And what it's good for is a contract that for every full-time employee who goes out on the road beginning next year, they'll be making $48.58 an hour in wages, health care, and pensions. That's what a union's worth to those people.
Fred Jaguar?
Well, Kenny may be right on his facts in that, but the problem you have out there is that there's so much disgruntled workers within these hubs and these drivers that I've met throughout the country, talking to them, looking at them, the standards that they're forced to work under, and they're saying, for what? We get no respect, our grievances are not being processed, nobody's listening to us. Do you know they have a mountain of grievances like this Atlantic grievance procedure with regards to the agenda that they transfer 3 to 4 to 100 grievances month to month? Nobody's representing the members. One of the things I tell the members out there is that, let me make it clear. What I see on those grievance procedures and why members talk about their jobs and their grievances are not being processed is that you got too big of a cozy relationship with the panel members and UPS management.
Okay. And Sandy Pope on the UPS contract.
1997, Ron Carey was the president that was in charge then, and I worked in his administration, and we were committed to getting full-time jobs. And I believe that you said that Hoffa is out there fighting for full-time jobs and the economy and everything. When he's looked on the other way with UPS, UPS hasn't hired a full-timer in 5 years practically. The part-timers, they are happy with what little they're getting, but they want full-time jobs too. They're waiting again 10, 11, 12 years for full-time jobs. You've completely given up on the 22-3 jobs as well.
Okay. Next question comes from me, and it goes to Fred Jaguar. The Teamsters are still dues-paying members to the Change to Win Federation, which just has down at this point to 4 unions. At this point, what is the point of Change to Win, and does it even make sense to have 2 separate labor federations? And if you were president of the Teamsters, what would you do about that?
Well, I believe in a unified labor movement, but on Change to Win, we left the AFL-CIO and we formed the Change. We were one of the unions that went in with other labor organizations to form the Change to Win. And it's a unified body, but the problem we had, if you look at it, Harold, was that we were paying for duplicate services. We're not doing that today. You know, we have a voice at the table. The other unions that are part of Change to Win, they're working with us on common problems. I think Change to Win is out there with regards to letting the public know and letting their voice be known, is that they do have rights with regards to this organization and getting involved with it. So Change to Win to me and the other unions seem to be working. And I wish they would be a little bit more militant, though, with regards to getting a message out there on the attack of workers with regards to the public sector. Because the public sector has taken a shellacking in a lot of these states. Like in my state, Change to Win was very successful. In Wisconsin, we were ground zero. We see what Governor Walker did to the collective bargaining with regards to the state of Wisconsin and the public sector. So we're working hard. We're working with the other entities within Change to Win. We work with the other entities within the AFL-CIO. But we elected to go into the Change to Win, and that's where we are today.
Sandy Pope, Teamsters should still belong to Change to Win?
I don't think it helps us to be separated. I think we should all be together. I'm not sure about, I wasn't involved in why people left, and in fact I was pretty upset that local officers weren't consulted about leaving the AFL-CIO at all. And, but we desperately need unity today. We need to have solidarity in the entire labor movement. We all need to be working together, whether we're in 2 separate organizations or not. So I hope that we will make the effort to get back, everybody to get back together.
And Ken Hall on Change to Win.
Change to Win, I mean, one of the issues is that the AFL-CIO provides a lot of benefits for smaller unions where the Teamsters have our own internal departments and don't really need that assistance. And so we pay, quite frankly, a lot less of our members' dues money in a Change to Win, while at the same time we're working together on political issues and other issues. But I just have to follow up. Sandy's comment that UPS hadn't hired a full-time employee in 5 or 6 years. I know you've never represented an employee. I don't know where you came up with the 97 strike because you weren't there, I was.